Hey there, my name is Shane Craddock, and this is the Inner Edge podcast, where I share a different take on how to lead and live a sustainable, high-performance life. Over the course of different episodes, I'm going to challenge the belief that tension, stress, and struggle are essential to success and creativity. My experience is that there's an easier way, there's a better way, and indeed there's an essential way that we need to explore for the times that we live in. So let's go ahead, let's jump in and explore. Here's a quote for you. People travel to wonder at the height of the mountains, at the huge waves of the seas, at the long course of the rivers, at the vast compass of the ocean, at the circular motion of the stars, and yet they pass by themselves without wondering. St. Augustine of Hippo. So this is a quote that I've taken from my book, Inspire Me. It's actually, I think it's the first, if not second one. And I'm going to read out a little bit more here to do with today's episode. It's actually within the Inspire Me book. I have a quote and then I've written a bit about it. So this one obviously is to do with exploring our potential. And I'm reading directly from the book now. I have a few friends that love to travel. In fact, they're obsessed with it. Seeing new places and experiencing new cultures is very exciting and fun. But most people never think about the amazing unexplored territory that is themselves. They never think of the amazing power they have within. I remember when a friend traveled the world for a year. She had a great time and the year flew by. And when she returned back home to the real world, she ended up getting very depressed. Why? Because life had lost its excitement, its sense of adventure. Like many others, she was fooled into thinking that a great life depends on where you are, but it doesn't. A great life starts inside you. It starts by discovering who you are, your talents, your passions, your interests, and engaging these to make a positive difference in the world. And that's when the real fun starts. Right, welcome to today's episode. That is taken from my book, Inspire Me, which in passing is available on Amazon. We all have untapped possibilities inside us. And today's episode, that's the title, is What Are the Inbuilt Possibilities? And it was inspired by my car mechanic. He doesn't even know this. His name is Darren. He's a great guy, great mechanic. Who knows? Maybe he's even listening. I don't know. I'll find out quick enough anyway if he is. Text me, Darren. So my car was in getting a service with Darren. And I enjoy a nice car and I enjoy driving my car. But at times I'm thick with that kind of stuff, primarily because I just don't have any interest in it. I'm much more interested in the inner workings of a human than I am in the inner workings of a car. So anyway, my son Sam is obviously very interested in this kind of stuff in general, much more than me, but he'll ask me, what does this button do? And what does that button do? And there was one button there that I just didn't know what it did. Anyway, when I came back, I saw the button was enabled, the light was on. And then I realized then, because Darren had turned it on for me, what it did. And what it did was, when I'm parked at the lights, at our traffic lights, it turns the engine off kind of automatically, but it's still in kind of standby mode. So the engine kind of goes off, and then I just, when you're ready, you hit your foot to the floor, and that wasn't enabled. So it's better for the environment. It's an eco-friendly type of thing in the car. So great. But then I was just thinking, there you go. What else do I not know about the car? And there's probably a couple of other things there, and eventually I'll probably start exploring that. But it was making me think, okay, what else do I not know? And then I was thinking about us, people. And my obsession myself with exploring, well, what are the kind of the little buttons within us that we can turn things on that are just naturally built into ourselves? And there are loads. There are absolutely loads. And most people I know don't realize what they can literally turn on inside themselves that will bring out new possibilities. And a couple of just very short stories come to mind to do with different people that I've worked with. Because I'm going to generalize here in terms of just maybe the stories that they are. I've heard many times as clients say to me they didn't realize it was possible to feel anxiety, but then have that feeling fall away really quickly, like literally within minutes. Whereas before it might have been they ramp up and they stay up at that level for a long time. And just they learn by working within themselves, it can actually come in, and that's okay, but then it can fall away very quickly. And just to realize that was possible was enough for them to up their game in that area. So realizing something is possible within you is actually very important. It's a very important thing as a parent to communicate with children, as a teacher with students, or as a coach, or just as a leader. That, okay, what are the possibilities? And then make sure you communicate those to the people. In the same way that I was discovering that there's possibilities with the car, and now I'm kind of curious again about the car. I'm still more curious about humans though. And the other thing was that, I've heard time and time again, clients saying to me, oh, I just didn't realize that it was possible to achieve success with less stress, like dramatically less stress. I said, well, actually that is possible. Yeah, that's 100% possible. But most people don't believe that because we're conditioned by Western society to think, well, no, to achieve a certain level of success, there's a massive price. Part of that's to do with stress. And that's kind of the way it is. If that's what you believe, that's what you're going to get. But what if something isn't that way? And so I know it's not. And so part of my job is to say, well, actually over here, you can come over here and it's possible to actually go about your life and have dramatically less stress. And also to have a balance. Now, balance is a funny word because I just don't believe it's a static thing. Balance, to me, a balanced life, or the phrase work-life balance, which I'm not a fan of, but that's a dynamic thing. It moves, and it should move based on where you're at and how you are. But it's very possible to have a really, really balanced life that is very full on the business side and also very full on the personal side. And then I'll throw out another one for you just in case it inspires you to kind of rethink something, because I do think you need to kind of reflect and look at your own beliefs around areas of your life where maybe you've settled for second best, or worse, even third best. For example, it is very possible to be in the flow much more often than people realize. Like, it is, without a doubt, very possible. That's what I've experienced. That's what I've helped a lot of clients to do. And that leads me into maybe a key little point is that just like the car, there are certain things that are inbuilt into us as humans that I, from my own exploration, now see that they're there in everybody, but a lot of the time people don't know the button is there to turn it on because they don't realize that it's possible. They just assume, oh, it's not. So say, for example, something like resilience. And over the years, I've done a couple of different resilience courses. Now, though, I kind of go, oh, hang on a second here. It's built into me. The more I learn how to keep my mind clear, there is a natural resilience and adaptability that's built into every single human. That is my direct experience. And you don't need to do a course to do it. It is built into you. And you see it very often with people. Some people are just really good in a crisis, but that can be learned. But that's really to do with they just are in the moment and they adapt to the situation. And it's almost sometimes as if something is flowing through them, which I believe that it is, which is like a natural intelligence. Second thing is clarity is built into us. You may not realize that. Most people, and I would include myself in this, for many years was like, I need to do X, Y, and Z to get clarity. Do you know what? That was probably the biggest thing that was blocking my clarity. And what I realized was when I stop overthinking, stop analyzing, overanalyzing, stop seeking even, this natural clarity that is always there, it's just sitting inside you, sitting inside me, you allow it to come out. And then also with that, there is also an inbuilt happiness. Now, in the Western world in particular, we are without a doubt conditioned, and the whole advertising industry is set up around this, is that when I get X, then I will be happy. I get a better job, I get higher income, I get things to be the way that I want, then I will be happy. But if you spend any sort of time helping people to do that kind of stuff, and at this point I'm like 25 years doing it, you realize that that is not true. Because I've helped so many people get X, whatever it is. Sell your business, make millions, make gazillions, get the right body shape, get the right partner, get the right house, get married, blah, 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 blah. Then I'll be happy. That's just not true. What is true is inbuilt into you and me and the people around you is a natural happiness that kind of seems to come out when our minds are relaxed. Now, we might associate it with certain activities, but the reality is that it's just sitting there. It's inbuilt into you. What's coming to mind now, just on the fly, is that I know there's a lot of research around this area to do with latent power within people. Like, and there's lots of different case studies with. And what's coming to mind, I don't know the exact details. If I find it in time, I'll put it into the show notes. But I know that there was one particular story around a woman who was quite small, and there was an emergency, I think, where her son was trapped under a car, an accident. And she, in the moment, quite small, light, she managed to lift the car off the child. Why? Because she had to save the child. And that's an example of an inbuilt strength. But like literally afterwards, thinking about it and being asked to do it, there's no way she could do it. So like what? And you might say, well, that's an extreme circumstance, which it is, but sometimes that's what's required to show you what's possible. So what if you have way more to you than meets the eye? I'm going to tell you that you do. I'm also going to tell you that a lot of this is inbuilt into you. Now, okay, it might take a little bit of training, but we are living in a time when it's possible to get access to that training. You know, most people know more about their cars than they do about themselves, which is a pity. I think that's what St. Augustine of Hippo was talking about. And I don't know what year he said that quote, but I'm sure it was a long time ago. And really he was just talking about people looking outside at different things, but just not looking inside. Now, obviously, you know, I'm biased because this is the Inner Edge podcast, after all. So, for what it's worth, don't be the one that passes yourself by without wondering about your own potential. Dig in. Go exploring. Work on yourself. And what does that mean? Well, that, to me, means learning about yourself from the inside out. You do have incredible possibilities. Way more than your car. Anyway, that's food for thought for today. Bye-bye.